Hello and welcome to the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. My name is JT and you're watching Black Box Trading. Things are going all according to plan. We said, we came up against that resistance in yesterday's stream. We said we'll probably get a pullback from there, get a reset, and get ready for that break of the downward sloping line of resistance. So let's just jump right into it. Let's tell you what we're talking about here. Let's go to the 4 hour. So basically, the downward sloping line of resistance in question is this line right here. Let's make it a little bit easier to see and more of a visual thing here. Let's make this brighter. I use this tool enough that it should be real bright and obvious to look at. This bad boy right here. All right, so this downward sloping line of resistance, it was resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, 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 fake out, breakout here, resistance here, and now we have our reset. So when we zoom in here, we said we'd probably get a pullback, and we did. We got our pullback with a reset, and I think either today, on today's, things are moving quick. Things are moving quick. So, oftentimes when I make a time-based estimate, it's usually too soon, but over the last week, I've been making time-based estimates that happen really quickly. So I'll say something will happen in the next couple of days and boom, it happens within a matter of hours. So what my normal TA is telling me is this will probably give an attempt at the breakout, of this downward sloping line of resistance over the next day or two, but that's been wrong. So we could see it happening within a matter of hours. Maybe at the US Open, who knows? But a matter of hours, I could easily see us going for a second attempt at breaking this downward sloping line of resistance, which is going to be really, really good. That's what we want to see. How is the weekly shaping up? The weekly is shaping up to be a very healthy candle with the potential of it even being a bullish engulfing candle. If we can get above 82,000, which guys, that's not hard. If we can close, we have basically 3 days left. If we can close above $82,000, that's a bullish engulfing, basically a hammer candle. So it's a good candle. That's what you want to see on the weekly time frames. It's looking good here. And then just as a reminder, like macro, looking at the monthly, this is just, I'm just going to remind you guys, because there's so much left in this candle that, it's not like if we see it get to what we're talking about that it's going to close anytime soon. It still has 20 days left in this candle. So more than 2/3 of the candle still needs time to print. But anything above 84, let's just say 85, that's going to be a bullish engulfing on the monthly. We've said numerous times we expect the acceleration for Bitcoin to occur around May. It would be fundamentally a narrative-driven thing if that began after the FOMC meeting, which is, when is the FOMC meeting? Let's pull it up. We know it's on the 7th, but if you guys want more, if you want a countdown, because that exists, we can go to CME Fed Watch. And the next FOMC meeting is in 26 days and 13 hours. So in 26 days, there will be another meeting. I anticipate that this meeting will be a rate cut. Rate cut means money printer turn on. The money printer's already been running, as we can see from M2 money supply. If we go over to M2, Bitcoin money supply, we can see that the money printer's already been turned back on. We can see that it is in the expansion of money supply right here. Let's just go to this cycle. Oops. Right here, we can see this blue line is climbing, this green line is climbing, the money is expanding. If you add a rate cut to that, then you're going to get something like this, where it's really, really expanding. Now, probably not something like this, it's it would be very silly if we saw this much money expense because this was as a result of COVID and 0% financing. We're not 0% finance, 0% interest rates coming from the Fed. We're not going to drop the rates to zero. So, we won't see something like that, but we might see something like this. We might see something like this, which could be very, very beneficial to the price of Bitcoin. So we got to watch how April closes. If April closes as a green, bullish engulfing, that sets us up for our May play that we've been talking about for months. Switched to water during the stream because somebody was complaining that I was slurping in their ear, which is a fair thing. I don't think about the audios and how that works sometimes, but yeah. No more slurping in the air. No more. This is not an ASMR channel. All right, let's catch up with the chat before we dive into more of the technicals here. Roy's short-term bullish. That's looking good. Long-term bullish, but mid-term bearish. I would like to hear what levels you're looking at. Do you think we're going to go to lower levels? Do you think we're going to rally up, but we just don't have the strength and we need to come back down to the levels? Do you think that we're going to break below some of these levels, break below 72, down as low as 60s? Like where are you thinking that the bleeding stops here for Bitcoin? I'm curious to hear. I think it's bullish from now on. Naramsin Lazar, good to see you in the stream. I think we're bullish. We might have one more blip. One more pullback, but I think that the low is in. I think that the low is in for the rest of the cycle, for what I deem to be the rest of the cycle, which I don't have a time or a price on that, just certain events that we look for. Technical events. Battered and bruised, still bullish for the cycle. I'm even bullish when there's reason to be short-term bearish, though, which probably means I have too much blind faith. It's called conviction, my friend, and conviction can help considerably. Let's fucking go. Hey, bro. We in a good today? Yeah, it's looking good today. Especially if we can break out. If we can get that breakout, I think we're setting up. For that breakout. Watch for this over the coming days. I say coming days, so watch it over the coming hours. Something like this, maybe up to, 86, something like that. Then a pullback, and then a little dance with the line. And then if we take off and get above it, off to the races, baby. Off to the races. So that's the structure you're looking for. Every little bounce we've had this year, I've automatically assumed it's straight up to new all-time highs. Fair enough. Probably Asia open. Asia's been open for a while, and it's given us this move so far. Asia doesn't have a lot to be bullish about, though. The financial markets of North America are heavily tied to what's going on in the U.S., and the U.S. is getting excited. People are getting temporarily less bearish on the market. So there's at least something to be bullish about with some of the trade wars deflating. But China's market's getting hammered big time. So they have a lot less to be bullish about. So we'll see. CRV is on fire. Yeah, we can take a look. Tezos is falling. Been holding for too long. Yeah, new coin, new cycle, new coins, man. New cycle, new coins. New cycle, new coins. Don't hold on to those dinosaurs. I mean, if we go into an altcoin season, everything goes up. But, in a bear market, never accumulate alts from the cycle that you just came from. Accumulate Bitcoin and listen, because you need to listen to the diehards that are from the noobs from the prior cycle, and they get in and they have all these things that they're excited about. That's how you pick the winners. So listen to the noobs after they've been wrecked, because they will get wrecked again on their second cycle, and you need to listen to what they're bullish about, because there's new coins that they get bullish about. They've been doing bad just like Manchester United. I don't follow football, or really sports for that matter. Almost didn't get what Man U meant. All right. Yeah, so things are looking good on basically all time frames. And if we can start getting those high time frame closes, we're off to the races, baby. We are off to the races. Oh my word. Look at the dollar, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. That is spectacular. This is exactly what we want to see. That is quite a ferocious dump to the downside. People are risk off the dollar. They are risk off the dollar. That's looking good. We like to see this. We like to see this. Let's see how the S&P is doing. Still on that bounce. We're on the weekly. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, we expected a down move. You know, when it pumps, it dumps. When it dumps, it pumps. You know, you can pretty much extrapolate that on every daily candle. For the most part, it alternates. You get a really big green candle, expect a red candle on the next day. Same story on the NASDAQ. We were unable to reclaim that level. Did the S&P have that? Yeah, the S&P has that too. Let's draw it. This is not the support that held. We can get rid of that. Let's do the same on the NASDAQ. This is not the support that held. Let's get rid of that. Thank you, Trump. All right. Bitcoin dominance. What are we doing? How are we looking? A little bit of a pullback. But we're not in altcoin season yet. You know, I have it marked down here. So we need to see a considerable series of red days to the downside before I claim altcoin season. So as it stands right now, we need to fall. We need at least a 5% fall in Bitcoin dominance, which isn't much. It's not much. Once we actually see that rotation coming into altcoins, it's really not much. Like when altcoin season starts, guys, it just dumps. It dumps so ferociously. Like, look at this. It's not hard to identify altcoin season. It's just, it pukes. It's just red day after 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 red day. When it falls, baby. And when it's fallen, you are making bank. So we're not there yet. It's just clear as day. Look at it's not the same chart at all. It's not the same chart at all. I can see a bullish flag on Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance, I'm a little bit careful about technical formations. I mostly focus on trend. Are we making higher highs and higher lows? I don't care about triangle breaks. I don't care about anything. That's why I have this channel here, because the channel is encapsulating a higher high, higher low structure. But even still, like, I'm just looking for a change in structure. As soon as we get a lower low coupled with a lower high and we see that change, we're off to the races. Bitcoin dominance can't even drop 5%. Hell no, man. What's going to cause Bitcoin dominance to drop 5%? Altcoins? Not without altcoin season. And that's the point. That's the point. You need feverish speculation from a whole new cohort of individuals who come in brand new, pockets loaded, wallets loaded, ready to go, saying, I can't afford Bitcoin. It's too expensive. I'm going to buy this other thing that's useless. Then you get the altcoin season. Altcoin season is fueled entirely by the misinformed. All right. I took Cardano off of the everyday watch list because I don't know, it's Cardano. Who cares? But XRP is still on there. XRP is still in this disgusting distributional flag. It is a flag. It's still a consolidation. It hasn't made a decision. It hasn't broken up. It hasn't broken down, but it's just in a super, super choppy range. So, we keep it simple over here. Below this line, bearish. Above this line, bullish. What are we? We're below it. We're bearish. Simple as that. Simple as that. Solana, is the low in for Solana? Probably not. I think we need to do a little bit of sideways trading first to build a little bit of a base. It would be nice if we can reclaim this level at around 16,000 sats. So that's 16,000 sats. Oh, they cut 1-0 off. It's so annoying. How do I manually override that? Whatever. STX ready to jump, I'm guessing. With how wrecked people have gotten in alts, I wonder if those people will tend to take profits super early when we get into altcoin season. Not all of them. They were hopeless on the way down, and they will be just as hopeless on the way up. I say hopeless. It depends on your strategy. Like, I knew going in when I was getting into ordinals, I'm riding this thing to the end. I'm not taking profits mid-cycle. I know that these things are going to pull back. I didn't expect them to pull back 90%, but nobody ever expects a 90% pullback. And I'm just going to ride it. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to sell it all for exponentially less than what I paid for them. The other thing about like super, this is kind of an ordinals sidebar here, but the concept of illiquidity. So even though we had an ordinals boom, we had an ordinals bull market, I have massive positions in ordinals that I minted for free, just paying miners to process transactions. At the peak of ordinals, I couldn't sell the positions if I tried. There was just not enough. There was a lot of excitement. There was a lot of volume. Don't get me wrong, but there just wasn't enough buyers to get out of these positions. So what I'm waiting for is phase 2 of the bull market, that acceleration phase of the bull market when, the population of crypto land here doubles or triples or quadruples as far as participants, because that's what happens every cycle. The last 10% of the cycle brings the next 90% of the people for the cycle after, and that's what I'm waiting for in ordinals. I need that volume to offload positions, and I'm probably not alone on that. But I don't know why I started talking about that. Ben Cohen says Sol is following ETH's death spiral. I don't think so. I mean, it's definitely a similar fractal for sure. Like, no, that's totally valid. Like, look at this. Let's go to the monthly chart. What are we looking at? We've got this peaked. It's kind of like an inverse Adam and Eve pattern where you have a V and a U. So you have this peak come down, and then you have this U. So from a fractal perspective, absolutely it's the same. Go over to ETH, and we have the same thing, right? We have the peak, the V-shaped peak, the trough, and the U. So definitely a lot of similarities, but I don't think that it's done. Sol is not as weak as Ethereum because Solana knows what it is. Ethereum doesn't know what it is. Ethereum thinks it's ultrasound money, but Ethereum is a shitcoin casino. Solana knows it's a shitcoin casino, and the Solana community embraces the fact that it's basically legal stealing. Spin up garbage that nobody needs, fucking fill up a liquidity pool and rug. That's what it's for. It's a shitcoin casino. It's a game of musical chairs where the insiders win every time. Ethereum is fucking delusional, man. Ethereum thinks that it's ultrasound money, and it's It's been down only since proof of stake. But, you know, credit where credit is due. Ben's not wrong. This, from a technical point of view, this peak and this secondary rounded over peak, it's the same. It looks very, very similar. So I totally get where he's coming from. I just think that I look at it a little bit differently in the sense that Ethereum was the original shitcoin casino. And then Solana was the next shitcoin casino. So I think they're just two different cycles apart. So even though they look similar here on the Bitcoin chart, where's Sol? Solana is still going to do what it's done. How can I phrase this? Ethereum's biggest run was 2017. Ethereum's second biggest run was 2020, 2021. Solana's biggest run was 2021. Its second biggest run is going to be 2025. So it's just an offset cycle. And then, you know, there will be something that just takes over this cycle. And that could be what we've been speculating on, which is Sonic. So Sonic could be the next Solana. And every cycle, it's going to be a brand new shitcoin casino. The brand new cycle for a new shitcoin casino. And then the next cycle, it will perform well, just not as well as its first cycle. And they all just trend down to zero. So next cycle, Ethereum is going to do incredibly terrible, to the point at which many people will probably lose faith. And a lot of the Solana bulls are going to be really excited about Solana's return, and it won't return. It's going to do what Ethereum did this cycle, and it's just going to repeat that sort of pattern until the world wakes up to the fact that none of these actually work. None of these are sustainable. And now there's so many DeFi apps and so many shitcoin casinos that exist on the Bitcoin network, and Bitcoin never actually fully goes away. So we may as well just, you know, develop on Bitcoin. We may as well just stay on the Bitcoin ecosystem. So it's all part of the game theory of Bitcoin. And ETH is crazy expensive too. Yeah, it's expensive. And it shouldn't be. It was supposed to get cheap at proof of mistake, but proof of mistake was just all around bad. All right, how are we looking here on Sonic? Let's talk about the future of finance. 52 people watching. Don't forget to like, really helps us out. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, follow us on X, retweet if you would be so kind, repost. Still trying to do that transition from Twitter lingo into X lingo. Twitter had better lingo, let's be honest here. Tweets, retweets, come on, that's way better. Yeah, we reclaimed the 7, so this is good. Why do I keep looking at the dollar pair? Sonic BTC. Add this. This is the one that I want on my chart. On my watch list. I want this one on my watch list. I don't want this one. I want this one. All right, we've reclaimed the 7 daily moving average here on Sonic. But I still want to see us break out of this range. So I want to see us get above the 30 and above the 50. If we can get into bullish alignment here on Sonic, I'm a buyer. I'm a buyer on bullish alignment. But we're still range bound for now. So Sonic, not quite yet for me. The reason I'm able to be so patient on altcoins, by the way, is I trade the Bitcoin pair. I have exposure to the market through Bitcoin. I'm 100% long Bitcoin. So if the alts are going up, Bitcoin's also going up. I'm making money. I don't feel like I have money on the table, dormant, not doing anything, trying to FOMO me into positions. I'm making money. But when I see the opportunity to make more, with this rotation into alts, that's when you make that rotation. Any alts you guys want me to take a look at? Did I miss any? Oh, Tezos. Tezos. XTZ. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. What do you guys want me to take a look at? Or what questions do you have? Do you have like just technical questions or wallet-based questions? This is an AMA. I should start labeling it AMA because you can ask me anything you want about the crypto space. Yeah. Yikes. Yeah. Tezos. Tezos is a piece of shit. Tezos is a rug. CRV. What got your attention for Sonic in general? Really good question. Narrative. So basically, I'm observing the behaviors of the market participants, particularly people, shitcoiners who think they know something in the market, because they speak in a certain way that is repeatable, that I've heard many, many times. And the last time I've heard people focus so much on performance, so much on throughput, so much on smart contract so much on smart contracts in DeFi, the last time that I heard that, it was coming from the Solana crowd when Solana was at $1. So when Solana was at $1, I was hearing all of this, ETH is done because of this, that, and the other. And you're hearing, ETH and Solana are done because of this, that, and the other. And it's the behavior of the Sonic bulls. This like this confidence. Yeah, confidence is the best word. It's this matter of a fact confidence that's being stated about Sonic in like this non-confrontational way, like go fuck yourself, do your own research. No, they like list out reasons why it's better. They're very informed about the project. They're very educated on the project, and they have an answer for everything. They're very organized with their thoughts. And I haven't seen that since we saw the Solana crowd, the early Solana crowd, when Solana was at $1. So that's basically it. That's the long and short of it. That's the only analysis I've done on Sonic because, I ultimately don't believe any of the claims. And I don't need to believe the claims. I just need to believe the people who believe the claims. So that's it. That's all that got me interested in Sonic. What's Ondo doing? Ondo's back down at the lows. If you're an Ondo bull, maybe take a peek. Andre is well trusted in crypto. Yep, that's another factor. You have, this leader. Every good project needs a good leader. Andre's not new. He is the godfather of DeFi. He's very well respected in the DeFi space. And that was similar to Solana as well with what's his face. All these people become irrelevant with enough time. But from people from last cycle, you remember the dude's name, some god developer, and Andre's a god tier developer. So you're right. Sweet, thanks. Got a bunch of Phantom a long time ago. Yeah. The timing of the chain swap is really good too. I usually hate when chains change, and I don't even know why they changed the chain, to be honest with you. Changed the chain, changed the name, but whatever the reason may be, good timing, because they're setting themselves up for a really good run with like a fresh chain with new data that the market needs to reprice. How's Ronin doing? I'm afraid to look. Oof, horrendous. I haven't opened up my Ronin wallet since the ordinals boom, since the last time we had a gaming boom. And yeah, probably should have opened it. That's horrendous. Horrific. Disgusting. Yeah, Ronan got rugged. Let's see what CRV is doing. CRV, man. Yeah, that's a clean chart, man. Every time I open this chart, that's the first thing that comes to mind, is just how clean it is. It's just so clean. What the fuck is this? Yeah, we don't need that. It's just clean. And what I mean by clean is, if you were to, put an example of a Wyckoff accumulation in a textbook with an SOS and a backup, it's so clean. Let me show you guys how clean this is. We have our preliminary support. Okay. This we'll make note of because it is an important level. This is where things really get fun, when it breaks above this. So you have your preliminary support. Then you have your seller's climax. Seller's climax. Automatic rally. Secondary test. Secondary test in phase B. I'll give you guys a graph in just a moment once I get it all laid out. Then I'm going to call this an LPS. It's not a spring because we didn't fall down. But we have our last point of support, followed by a sign or a signal of strength, our SOS, followed by our backup phase. Backup / LPS again, last point of support. And we're bouncing off of that. Let me get a graph. Let me get a schematic just to show you how freaking clean this is. This needs to be in a Wyckoff textbook. Let's see, where can I pull a graph from? I gotta have a graph kicking around somewhere. Schematic. That's a spring. There's an LPS. So here it is. I don't know if you guys can see that clearly. But we can even add the little lines too. No, we don't need those lines, but what we can do is divide it into the different phases. So you have phase A, phase B, phase C, phase D, phase E. And we got phase A right here. Let's make that a dotted line like it is. And we got phase C is right here. This is kind of boring. I'm sorry. This is not good live entertainment, but maybe some people find it interesting. We're doing it anyways. We're committed. And then we have our SOS right here and our backup phase. What comes after the backup phase? Phase E. That's when shit gets exciting. That's when shit gets exciting. So when we go into phase E, it's markup. markup phase. That's when it is repriced. Now, a lot of alts are doing this, by the way. A lot of alts are doing this. This isn't unique to CRV at all. But CRV's chart is just clean. It's clean. It's just a good example. It's just a good example. So when we enter into phase E, get above this preliminary support, boom, we're off to the races, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna rip after that. She's gonna rip after that. The whole thing was based on Halloween. Maybe they need to get rid of that. Talking about Sonic, I'm guessing. Nobody seems to care or remember. So I think it's fine. But yeah, that's CRV, ladies and gentlemen. It's looking good. And how does that line up with alphanumerics? Still red wave. Still red wave. But look at this right here. This dot right here at $1. As soon as it's above $1, it's going to go. And it will line up with everything else going. Like I said, I don't think this is unique to CRV. I just think it's a very good example of a Wyckoff accumulation. ICP made Bitcoin programmable, living directly on the real Bitcoin network without wrapping it or trusting anyone in between. That's a huge deal. Yeah, it just doesn't mean that you need ICP. That's the thing. That's the thing about like scaling solutions in general. First of all, everything that's a scaling solution is just taking the computations that are currently done on chain and taking them off chain and then wrapping them into some sort of readable, compatible bundle and then posting it for settlement. Because really that's all Bitcoin needs is settlement. So you can in theory scale Bitcoin exactly the same way as ICP without a blockchain at all, without smart contracts at all. ICP is a blockchain. ICP has smart contracts, and ICP attempts to create demand for the ICP token. But when you go down, when you get down to it, if I am a Bitcoiner and I'm using a Bitcoin smart contract, so I'm the end user, I'm where the money is supposed to come from, right? I'm the targeted revenue source. And at no point during me owning, transacting in, sending, utilizing, staking, yielding, participating in any form on the Bitcoin network using DeFi, at no point will I ever need to buy an ICP token. And it doesn't matter how important ICP is. And you brought up ICP. There's a lot of things that do the same thing, like Chainlink. You don't need Chainlink for oracles to work. You don't need Uniswap. If you've ever traded on the Uniswap decentralized exchange, you go and swap some ETH for this shitcoin or that shitcoin. You didn't need Uniswap tokens to do that. You just needed ETH to do that. So not to say that it's not bringing value, because it is. I just don't know how that ties in to making money on ICP. Effectively, if ICP is scaling Bitcoin, Bitcoin is more valuable. So Bitcoin has more of an advantage. Therefore, Bitcoin needs to be repriced at a higher price. So the investment is Bitcoin. That's my opinion anyways. And there's a lot of coins out there. I know it feels like I'm picking on ICP right now. Fuck, like most of the coins that are out there most of the protocols, most of the apps, most of the things that you can do in the blockchain space don't need a token. They just exist as apps. And you don't need the token for those things to exist. Thanks for the breakdown of CRV. No problem. Yeah, Phantom. Oh, yes, Phantom. Okay. I understand what you're saying. It was a Halloween thing. So Phantom was a Halloween thing and they got rid of it. Yeah, okay. Well, it's a pretty drastic way to shake off a Halloween thing. Phantom projects in 2021 were all based on cats, ghosts, graves. Okay, I got you. I understand now. ICP, let's look. I know we looked at it the other day. Yeah, we looked at this the other day. If you're an ICP investor, watch for anything below $3. And if you're an ICP trader, watch for anything above $10. Track is doing Wyckoff? I don't know. I don't think it's had enough time. I don't think it's had enough time to be doing anything from a Wyckoff point of view. I guess. But at the same time, I don't think so. So here's the thing. I think that if this is the beginning of a Wyckoff accumulation, it's going to take months for it to hit all of the events. And if it takes months for it to hit all of the events, it's going to miss altcoin season. So I don't think it's doing a traditional Wyckoff setup. I think Track is just... usually Wyckoff, it's still very new. Track is still very new. It came out this cycle. I usually look at a Wyckoff setup as happening from previous cycle to existing cycle. And the accumulation happens between the depths of the bear market of the previous cycle and the beginnings of the phase 2 acceleration of the current cycle. And that space in there is where you start to see Wyckoff stuff. Because this came into existence this cycle, I don't think it's going to do anything related to Wyckoff because A, there's not enough people that know about it, and B, it just hasn't had enough time in existence. So it's just going to, the better way to approach something like this is just with trend, which is why I have this excited line here. When I get above this line, I can get excited. Why? Because that will be the first higher high. We've been nothing but lower lows and lower highs since the top of the ordinals boom. It's been lower highs and lower lows throughout the whole consolidation, the whole retrace rather, not consolidation. And at the point at which it takes out the prior high, we can get excited because that'll be the very first higher high. And then the first higher high will lead to the first lower high. So it'll look something like this. It'll be the first higher high comes in. Then we get our first lower high. Then we get our second higher high. And then we get our second lower high. Or sorry, higher low. I'm getting confused here. And then it expands. So we'll probably see something like this, where it's just slow and expanding volatility until you get the next blow off top. ICP is the only blockchain that can run full web apps, smart contracts, and the entire website's 100% on-chain. No servers, no cloud, pure decentralization, over 250 people working on it. But we don't need that. Why do we need websites running on the blockchain? That's a serious question. Why do we need websites running on the blockchain? You can do it yourself. You can run your own hosting node for free, and it doesn't need a blockchain to do that. It is cloud. No cloud, that doesn't make sense. I don't know. Manarth, it's just, I don't want to pick it apart too much. I would much rather have an in-person discussion where we can properly debate, because debating on a live stream, it doesn't work. It's too one-sided. I can dismiss it. Everybody here is watching me because they respect my opinion, so by default you're already in a losing position with a debate. But I love these conversations, by the way, which is why I keep getting tempted into it. And I would love to have a debate with you in person. Are you coming to Token? Is anybody who's coming to Token 2049? Anybody watching coming to Token at the end of the month in Dubai? Do Wyckoff and Elliott waves complement each other? You know how I feel about Elliott wave. I don't think Wyckoff is loosey-goosey enough with its rules that you can already get tripped up a lot on Wyckoff. And Elliott wave, there's no fucking rules to Elliott wave. It's just like, oh, we got a 1 to 5 expansion, then we get an ABC contraction, and then fuck, I don't know. It's not for me. They might, you'll certainly find people out there that say they complement each other, but at the end of the day, guys, technical analysis is not a way to predict the future. It's a way for you to develop a bias if you're an investor, so that you know advantageous points in the market where you can get the best bang for your buck as an investor. And it's a way for you to identify support, resistance, place stops, and place your technical orders based off of information that, yes, is presented to you in a nice little package of a green candle or a red candle, but really this is people, this is human behavior, this is technical images that are displayed on a chart that represent randomness. They represent human behavior. So that's kind of a long-winded way of saying Elliott wave can totally work with the person who understands risk management, who understands position sizing, who understands the fundamentals of how to be a trader or how to be an investor and how to spot value in a market. Anything can work with that person. You could just give them MACD, and that's the only thing they have access to, and they've been blacklisted from every indicator on TradingView, and they'll be able to be successful. You could take away all indicators from that individual. They have no indicators, no drawings whatsoever. A trader that knows how to position, how to take chances, how to calculate risk, how to calculate losses, and balance those out with the probabilities of successful trades will grow an account. And you could give the best indicators, the best paid indicators that are like top secret on Wall Street, and you can give that to somebody that doesn't understand how to trade, and they will blow up their account. They'll lose everything. So, just choose what you like. Choose what you like. Choose what makes sense to you, and then focus on position sizing. That's the number one thing in trading, position sizing. You need to be positioned. You got to size appropriately. You need to size high enough that you're going to make money. You need to size low enough that you can be wrong 5, 6, 7 times in a row. Position sizing is super, super important. And if you guys want info on that, I have it in the Discord, how to calculate position size. It's in there. It's free. It's on the Learn to Trade part of the Discord channel. And yeah. STX. I'm basically lumping this into the same category as ordinals. When ordinals come back, STX comes back. I don't think STX is going to do a new all-time high. I think it's just a mad oscillator. NKN was trying to do decentralized webs. Well, here's some food for thought for you guys to do some research. What if you just launch a website on Bitcoin using the Bitcoin nodes, which is totally doable. They exist. You can make an ordinal that's a website. And it's truly decentralized. Doesn't have a foundation, doesn't have a team. It's protocol. I don't want to get too into it. But basically, anytime a coin makes a claim, you need to go out and ask yourself and prove to yourself, is this theoretically possible on Bitcoin? Because if the answer is yes, then the answer is yes, it will. Because Bitcoin is the stronger protocol. It has the most adoption. Hit the likes, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys haven't done so already, please go to blackbox.pro and get into the Discord. Get into the Discord. Go this way. Don't go. We're still getting a lot of people coming through the Discord links linked down below. I'm contemplating just getting rid of those Discord links because they seem to cause a lot of confusion. The best way into the Discord is through your black box dashboard. How do you get a black box dashboard? Click this button that says get started. And all we need from you is an email and a password. Once you give us your email and your password, you click sign up. You will get an OTP sent to that email. That will grant you access to get in to the dashboard. Once you are in the dashboard, you can join the Discord here. This will automatically verify you. You don't need to contact any of the support staff. You don't need to share any private or personal information. You will automatically be brought into the Discord server. Automatically verified. If you follow the links below for Discord, there's extra verification steps that is there to keep scammers out. If you want the easy way, blackbox.pro. If you want the hard way, links below. But get into the Discord. We're posting all of our trade setups, all of our entries, exits, take profits, altcoin positions, minting. I mean, we haven't done much minting lately because it's not that time, but believe you me, there will be a time where we are minting. We will be the first people to get hands-on with these brand new projects. And we've done some fucking bangers. We've done multiple 100x calls, and one 2500x call. So you definitely want to be around for that. I ping everybody. It seems that nobody listens when I ping because we're usually at market lows and people are like, nah, that's fucking stupid. I'm not going to do that. But those that did have made fucking bank. So, yeah, you want to be in it for those. Even if you're just an investor and you don't think of yourself as a trader, get in for the ordinal plays. We're plugged in for the ordinal stuff. Like I said, we haven't minted in like a year. We haven't done any minting for like a year. No joke. But the minting will come back, and with, a couple $100 in mining fees, you can make. Not financial advice. Past performance doesn't indicate future results. But we have several members that have made hundreds of thousands of dollars from like nothing, from a couple $100, including myself. All right. What can we wrap things up on? Let's wrap it up on Bitcoin. Yeah, we're just waiting for that second attempt. So what I'm wanting is over the next couple hours, a second attempt at this downward sloping line of resistance. If we get nice volume, nice reaction up to, say, maybe somewhere around this level, we will get a reaction back down to the area of the breakout, get some sort of a consolidation. And when we get above that, we're looking good. If we achieve this, bull market time, big time. If we can achieve this. But let's take it one step at a time. The next thing that we are looking at is just that breakout. We need that breakout. Let's get this retest over here. All right. Thank you all for joining in. If you guys enjoyed this content, please leave it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Go and check out blackbox.pro. Give us an email, give us a password, and get into the free Discord where you can make 2500x, where you can gain access to 2500x calls. We're probably not going to do that again, let's be honest, but we might be able to call another 100x or so. So get in there, and we will see you guys in the next one.